There seems to be a voice that follows us around occasionally. It whispers. It says, "You are not enough. You have fallen too far. You are disqualified from light." This voice has many names, but one of its oldest is shame. Shame is not the same as responsibility. Responsibility says, you did something. Now learn, repair, and return. Shame says, you are something. Broken, stained, beyond return. And if you listen, shame always tries to exile you, not just from others, but from your own soul, from joy, from belonging, and from the sacred. But what if this voice is wrong? What if shame is not a truth? What if it's a distortion? Now, in the wisdom of Kabbalah, there is a word, or, and it means light, not just physical light, but the subtle radiance that flows from the infinite, from the quiet, from the constant presence of the divine that fills all things. Or is not something you earn. It is not given, but only unto the perfect. It is the fabric of existence itself. And here is the secret. There is no place where or does not reach. Not your mistakes, not your regrets, not the hidden rooms of your life, which you are afraid to open. The light is already there. Shame tells you, hide, because you're unworthy of the light. But or whispers, you're made of light. Come closer. Shame contracts the soul. It makes you smaller, quieter, more rigid. It convinces you that distance is safety. But the divine is not found in distance. The divine is found in relationship. Not the relationship of perfection, but the relationship of honesty. Not the relationship of performance, but of presence. You were never meant to be flawless. You were meant to be real. There is another Kabbalistic idea. The soul is like a spark from the infinite flame. A spark can fall into mud. It can be covered. It can seem dim. But it does not stop being fire. You may have done things you regret. You may carry memories that still ache. You may feel like you have drifted far from who you were meant to be. But nothing you have done has extinguished your spark. Nothing. Now shame says that you are mud. But the truth, it says, you're the fire within. And the work of a lifetime is not to become someone else, but to uncover what has always been there. When you begin to release shame, something subtle happens. You stop running. You stop hiding from yourself. You stop hiding from the divine. And in the stillness, something opens up. Not a voice of judgment, but a presence of deep, patient love. A presence that has been waiting, not for you to be perfect, but for you to be willing. Willing to turn. Willing to look. Willing to say, here I am. In Kabbalistic language, there's a rhythm to life. Concealment and revelation. Sometimes the light is obvious. But sometimes it's hidden. But hidden does not mean that it's absent. Your moments of confusion, your struggles, your questions, these are not signs that you're disconnected. They are invitations. They're invitations to seek a deeper relationship, because a relationship with the divine is not built on never falling nor failing. It is built on returning again and again and again. Every time you choose to return, even from doubt, even from failure, you strengthen that relationship. And here's the paradox. The places where you feel the most shame are often the very places where the greatest light can enter. Because those are the places where you are the most human, the most vulnerable, most real. Shame, it says, come, close the door. But or, it says, open it wider. Let the light meet you where you actually are. Not where you pretend to be. Not where you think you should be. But where you are. Right now. There's a teaching that the divine does not dwell only in lofty places, but also in the broken heart that is open. Not broken in despair, but broken in honesty. A heart that says, I don't have it all together, but here I am. That kind of heart is not rejected. It is welcomed. Because relationship requires presence, not perfection. Now imagine for a moment that the divine is not watching you from a distance, not keeping score, and not measuring your worth. Imagine instead that the divine is within you, breathing with you, waiting for you to notice. Not with pressure, not with condemnation, but with quiet, infinite patience. The kind of patience that does not rush you. The kind that does not shame you for taking time to grow. Because growth is not linear. It spirals. You revisit the same lessons, the same patterns sometimes, the same questions. But each time with a little more awareness, with a little bit more compassion. And that is not failure. That is the path. When shame speaks and it wants finality, you will never change. This is who you are. But the soul doesn't speak that way. The soul lives in possibility. Every moment is a doorway. Every breath is a chance to return. In the Hebrew, another related idea is teshuvah, returning. Not just repentance in the narrow sense, but returning to your essence, a remembering of who you are beneath all the layers. And here's the beauty. You do not return to earn love. You return because you are already loved. The return is not a transaction. It is a reconnection. Shame tries to sever that connection. It says, stay away until you're worthy. But come closer, and you will remember your worth. So what do you do with shame when it arises. You do not fight it with harshness. You don't silence it with force. You meet it with the truth. You say, I hear you, but you are not my essence. My essence is light. My essence is a spark of the infinite. My essence is still connected. And slowly, gently, you choose not to believe the voice that pushes you away from yourself. Instead, you listen for the quieter voice, the one that calls you back to presence, back to honesty, back to relationship. And that relationship is alive. It is not confined to rituals or specific moments. It can be found in a breath or in a pause. It is in a simple awareness right now, even now. If you sit quietly and you notice your breath, there's something miraculous happening. Life is moving through you, unasked, unforced. That is ore, a constant flow of giving. You are already receiving it, and you are already a part of it. There's nothing you need to prove to deserve that. Nothing. So let shame loosen its grip. Not all at once, but little by little. Each time you choose truth over distortion, presence over hiding, connection over exile, you step closer to the light that has never left you. And over time, something changes. You begin to trust that you are not alone. You begin to feel that your life has meaning beyond your mistakes. You begin to sense that even your struggles can become pathways. You know, in Kabbalah, the light does not only shine despite the darkness, it can actually reveal the darkness. It can be revealed through it. So your story is not disqualified. Your past is not a barrier to the divine. It is part of the terrain where your soul is learning to awaken. So walk gently with yourself today. Speak to yourself with more truth than accusation, more curiosity than judgment. And remember, you're not the voice of shame. You are the one who can hear it and choose differently. You're the vessel of ore. Not a perfect vessel, not a finished vessel, but a living, breathing, evolving one. And the divine is not waiting at the end of the journey. The divine is right here, every step of the way, even here, even now, especially now. Thank you for listening to my message today. I hope you have a blessed day, and shalom.